amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 10, printed in House Report number 114-261, offered by Mr. Johnson of Georgia.
Pursuant to House Resolution 420, the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson, and a member opposed each will control 5 minutes. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of this amendment is simple. It protects the right of the public to comment. This amendment reads, "Nothing in this act or the amendments made by this act shall have the effect of changing or limiting any law or regulation that requires or provides for public comment or public participation in an agency decision-making process." Now, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the Pope, right here in this very room, called on each of us to pursue a common good, which he told us requires a courageous and responsible effort. And certainly, if we're going to protect the common good, it requires that we protect the right of the public to comment on projects that have an adverse impact on our precious environment right there where they live. This amendment would restore the right of any member of the public to comment on construction projects that may have an environmental impact. And because of that, I don't expect any opposition to this amendment, Mr. Speaker. Like a number of well-respected environmentalists, I oppose H.R. 348, the so-called RAPID Act, which threatens public health and safety by putting a thumb on the scales of justice in favor of private sector businesses in the project approval process. It is yet another anti-regulatory measure whose only design is to grease the wheels of the approval process for projects that are environmentally sensitive. Aside from creating duplicative and costly requirements that pertain to certain types of projects, the RAPID Act would also limit the right of the public to comment on these projects. This bill does that in two ways. First, by reducing opportunities for public input, and secondly, by fast-tracking the approval process through arbitrary deadlines. Through an open, flexible, and timely process, NEPA empowers the public to weigh in on decisions. That means that the local farmer who owns land that would be affected by a federal construction project, let's say a nasty pipeline, like Keystone, it ensures that that local farmer would have the ability and would stand on local footing with the construction industry and with the federal government. My amendment is vital to ensuring that the RAPID Act does not shut the public out of the process. I'm sure that all minds agree that that is reasonable, and with that I urge my colleagues to support this amendment. And I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Georgia reserves the balance of his time.